Well, for folks in Martinsville and Henry County, the winds that are kicking around our area are starting to create a relatively dangerous situation in terms of the potential for some fires taking place in rural areas. That was the case early this morning. A fire breaking out around 7:30, 7:45 this morning on Soapstone Road, and multiple units from Henry County and the Virginia Department of Forestry responding to the scene. Now, this is basically what we saw after we walked through about a quarter to a half mile of heavily wooded area there at about 700 Soapstone Road. This is where the Ridgeway Volunteer Fire Department and Horse Pasture Volunteer Fire Department, along with Virginia forestry officials, were on the scene, battling this blaze that we understand was caused by the collapse of a high-tension power line owned, ironically, by the city of Danville. Now, this power line traverses Henry County on its way to Danville, and the line did collapse. Because the firefighters were having difficulty making a good fire break, and we'll explain why the fire break is so important in a second, they called in forestry officials with this bulldozer that is specially equipped to create a strong fire break, or a section that fire should not be able to leap over, getting up all of the downed tree limbs, getting up the leaves, creating basically just a dirt path that's about 7 feet wide that fires like this that sort of creep along the ground cannot leap. Now, this is why this was such a dangerous situation for firefighters. The downed power line had to be considered hot until the electric crews from the city of Danville could make it all the way over to Soapstone Road and evaluate the situation. It was not a grounded wire. Now, the smoke was visible from miles away, and the crews from Danville were actually taking up to 2 hours to get on the scene. In fact, by the time we had arrived, we were hearing that it was going to be another hour. So firefighters really couldn't put any water down. They had to work with leaf blowers, rakes, a mattox, and then here you can see the bulldozer as it plowed through the underbrush, continuing to make that fire break. And it was important that they make the fire break where they did, because there were some homes adjacent to this land, and they were being threatened as well from this brush fire that began and eventually consumed multiple acres. Now, we were able to speak to Pete Draper, the fire marshal for Henry County. He said the fire has been brought under control, and the electric power crews are there on the scene evaluating the situation. But it only takes a very small spark for a big blaze to start in these tinderbox conditions, and we are not looking for rain in the foreseeable future. So you need to be very, very careful if you're out and about doing some home improvement over the next couple of days. But again, this major fire occurring there in the Soapstone area, and a terrific work by the volunteer firefighters and the Virginia Department of Forestry to get this contained. Again, this fire caused by collapsed power lines. We'll have more on this coming up for you later on this evening.